Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics.
Christ is in our midst. Today on Saturday, October 14th, we commemorate the holy martyrs Azarios, Gervasius, and Protasius, and Celsius. Celebrate St. Cosmas the Agiopolite, and we celebrate the Saint Praised Ignatius, Archbishop of Metimna, and our righteous Paraskevi of Serbia. Regarding the holy martyrs Azarios, Gervasius, Protasius, and Celsus, the holy martyrs all contested for piety's sake in Milan. After the passage of much time, their holy relics were discovered and given honorable burial by St. Ambrose. Your martyrs, O Lord, in the courageous contest for you, received as the prize the crowns of incorruption and life from you, our mortal God. For since they possessed your strength, they cast down the tyrants, and wholly destroyed the demon's strengthless presumption. Christ God, by their prayers, save our souls, since you are merciful. In shedding the light of miracles like shining lamps, O martyrs of God, you make the whole creation bright, at all times dispelling the deepest night of sickness and maladies, and without ceasing pleading with Christ, the only God, that he grant his mercy to us. Regarding St. Cosmas the Agiopolite, St. Cosmas was from the holy city of Jerusalem, and was a contemporary and peer of St. John of Damascus, with whom also he was reared, when because of his orphanhood he was adopted by Sergius, St. John's father, and with whom he had the same instructor. About the year 743 he was elected bishop of Mauma, coastal city of Palestine, for a time under the jurisdiction of Gaza, with the name Port Gaza. During the reign of St. Constantine the Great, it became a separate township, and at that time was renamed Constantia, or after Constantine, the son of the emperor. Cosmas became an excellent hymnographer, from whence he is called the composer and melodist. Among his many compositions are the Canon of the Cross, from September 14th, and the Canon of the Nativity of Christ. Christ is born, give you glory. You are a guide of orthodoxy, a teacher of piety and modesty, illuminator of the world, the God-inspired pride of monastics. O wise Cosmas, you have enlightened everyone by your teachings. You are the harp of the Spirit. Intercede to Christ our God for the salvation of our souls. Adorned with the virtues, O blessed Cosmas, and inspired of God, thou didst become a fair adornment of the Church of Christ. With sacred songs, O Father, didst thou adorn her. Intercede thou with the Lord, that he deliver us out of all the devices of the enemy. We cry to thee, rejoice, O thrice blessed Father. This great saint, who composed these catavasias, these hymns of the Church, which are so well enjoyed, the catavasias of the Cross, and of course, the catavasias of Christmas. Christ is born, let us glorify him. For those who have St. Cosmas as their patron, and for the chanters that revere him, Sonia Pola. Regarding the righteous Paraskevi of Serbia, St. Paraskevi was born in Thrace in the 11th century. In her youth she went to Constantinople, thence journeyed to the Holy Land in pursuit of the ascetical life. After struggling for many years in the wilderness of the Jordan, she was moved by God to return to her homeland. She continued her monastic labors there for a few more years, and then reposed in peace. Thou didst love a silent and solitary life, and didst fervently follow Christ thy bridegroom, and having taken his easy yoke in thy youth, and having courageously armed thyself with the sign of the cross against thy spiritual enemies, thou didst extinguish the coals of passions with thy tears, with ascetic labors, fasting, and prayer, O glorious Paraskevi. And now thou standest in the heavenly bridal chamber, with the wise virgins, in the presence of Christ. Pray for us who venerate thine honorable memory. Let us all piously praise most honorable Paraskevi, the holy intercessor for those in affliction. She gave up her earthly life, and received an incorruptible life forever, wherefore she hath won glory, and the grace of wonder-working by the command of God. From St. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. Brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. When it says be steadfast and immovable, it doesn't mean to be a stubborn ox. It means to not be moved by the whims of the people, to not be moved by insult, to not be moved by praise, but to be immovable, to be firm in your convictions, and to always abound in the work of the Lord. The work of the Lord is love, knowing that in your Lord your labor is not in vain. Now concerning the contribution for the saints, as I directed the church of Galatia, so you also are to do, meaning that we are supposed to give generously of our goods for those who are in need. On the first day of every week, each of you is to put something aside and store it up, as he may prosper, so that contributions need not be made when I come. When I arrive, I will send those whom you credit by letter to carry your gift to Jerusalem. So this is the concept of the Sunday offering, where we give what we can each week, and then the church sends that gift to those who are in need. So for us in the metropolis of Chicago, we gather up, we send our total commitment to New York, and that is then spread to the ministries throughout the archdiocese. From the Gospel according to St. Luke. At that time Jesus was going through the grain fields on the Sabbath, and his disciples plucked and ate some heads of grain, rubbing them in their hands. But some of the Pharisees said, "Why are you doing what is not lawful to do on the Sabbath?" Because this would be considered work. Believe it or not, just the simple act of plucking the grain and plucking your hand and then eating it was considered labor. Jesus answered, "Have you not read what David did when he was hungry, he and those who were with him? How he entered the house of God, and took and ate the bread of the presence, which is not lawful for any but the priest to eat. Also gave it to those who were with him." So David went into the sanctuary and took the bread. So that was not something that anyone should be able to do, but nobody is saying David can't do that. And he said to them, the Son of Man, is Lord of the Sabbath. Meaning that the Sabbath is meant for rest. And the Son of Man, who is Christ, is Lord of that. He established rest for people's good, not for it to be something that they should be slaves unto. But on another Sabbath, when he entered the synagogue and taught, a man was there whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and the Pharisees watched him to see whether he would heal on the Sabbath, again considering this to be work, so that they might find an accusation against him. But he knew their thoughts, and he said to the man who had the withered hand, "Come and stand here." And he rose and stood there. And Jesus said to them, "I ask you, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do harm, to save a life or to destroy it?" And he looked around on them all, said to them, "Stretch out your hand." And he did so, and his hand was restored. So we see that they wanted to try to catch Jesus. And when Jesus pointed out their hypocrisy and the evil of what they were doing, they didn't answer. And so Jesus healed, showed that he is doing godly things. Because the Sabbath is meant to help. It's not supposed to cause harm. It's supposed to make our life better. And so Jesus Christ points out this hypocrisy and shows us what Sabbath is supposed to be, not this.
I hope that you've enjoyed today's Spiritual Calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.